Hey, Miss Money, appreciate you hopping on in. Got Miss Jade. All right, Jade, I just sent you the invite. Let me know if you got it. Hey, Fatty, well, I appreciate you hopping on in. Miss Crystal, Wendy, man, I appreciate you hopping on in. User 2988, appreciate you hopping on in. Vanette, trying to get Miss Jade to hop on. She's a spiritual counselor, spiritual advisor, and spiritual healer. I'm trying to get her on. Miss Jade, you might have to send your invite again. Jerome, I appreciate you hopping on in. Foodie, I appreciate you hopping on in, folks. The boss, I appreciate you hopping on in, folks. I'm just trying to get my spiritual counselor to get on board, y'all. She way out there in Thailand right now. Pearl Williams, I appreciate you hopping on in. Appreciate y'all hopping on in. We're going to let a few more folks. Deborah Webb, I appreciate you hopping on in. Stargaze, I appreciate you hopping on in. Tawanda, I appreciate you hopping on in, folks. I got my spiritual counselor coming on, Miss Jade, trying to see if she's going to be able to tap on in with us right quick to give us a female perspective on what we're going to be talking about today. And hopefully she'll be able to log in and get with us. She's way out there in Thailand. Marvin, I appreciate you hopping in. RP, I appreciate you hopping on in. Appreciate you. Jay, did you get it? Was you able to, can you send me another invite? Send another invite so we try to get, oh, there she go. Can you hear me, Miss Jade?
Good day. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. All right, let me go ahead and get the party started. All right, for those who don't know me, my name is Leo, certified life coach, certified transformation coach. I help people heal who are in and coming out the narcissist relationship, and I help the narcissist heal. And who I have on deck is Miss Jade. Miss Jade is a spiritual counselor, spiritual advisor, and a spiritual healer. Miss Jade of all trades. Now, folks, let's do some admin stuff real quick. First off, take what you need, put in your pocket. The rest, throw it away. Everything I'm saying, because the TikTok police is sitting right outside and they got the scope on me. Everything I'm talking about, folks, pure entertainment, hint, pure entertainment. Take what you need, put in your pocket, the rest go away. If you are in a physically or mentally abusive relationship, please go find yourself a professional. Go get yourself a therapist. Go get yourself a clinician. I treat people on a holistic level. I am a life coach and transformation coach. I have Miss Jade. Miss Jade is way more qualified to help you in these type of topics. Now, folks, today's topic is going to be kind of sensitive, so I don't know how loud or how amped I'm going to get into it. You can see the background of narcissism, the roots of narcissism, some of the roots. Folks, today's topic, we're going to be talking about that toxic narcissist family. I'm going to say it again. We're going to talk about the narcissistic family and those family members. Now, folks, this is a sensitive topic for many of us, because many of us, we are so rooted in the family that we don't want to hear that we have a narcissist in the family. Some of us know it. We might be that family member. We might be that one. But folks, I always say, if you ain't incarnate with it, you definitely was born into that narcissistic family. And some of you have it. Mom might have been a narcissist. Dad might have been a narcissist. Granddad, grandma, brother, sister, cousin, even your child might be that narcissist. But folks, I will tell you, yes, indeed, we have them in the family. And I'm going to talk about mine a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, in my family dynamic, it was about the image. My last name, it was about the image. It wasn't just persistent, like just one person, which I'm going to identify that person. But mine was more about the image. But today's topic, we are talking about the narcissistic family and family members. Miss Jade, what is your viewpoints on this?
Oh my goodness. I have them. My family isn't perfect by any means. I'm the black sheep of the family. So I would say it's six children. Um all but two of us are the narcissist. Two of us. It's two me and the two youngest ones, me and my youngest brother, little brother. He's not a narc. But I would say out of six children, my mom and dad have four narcissistic children. I want to listen to you talk about it because my parents, I'm having a hard time deciphering if they were narcissists. I don't think they were. I honestly don't think they were. I believe that you can have parents that aren't narcissistic give birth to a narcissistic child. I honestly do. So it'll be interesting to see what the crowd is saying about who's the narcissist in their family and if their parents are narcissists or are their siblings. So if y'all can put that in the chat, let us know. Were your parents narcissists? If so, which one? And also, if you have siblings, are they narcissists?
Too easy. Put me back in the game. I got a whole lineup. I could run the whole family tree down for everybody. Hey, for those of you guys jumping on in, my name is Leo, certified life coach, certified transformation coach. I help people heal who are in and coming out of the narcissist relationship, and I help the narcissist heal. We have Miss J, spiritual counselor, spiritual advisor, spiritual healer. Miss J, the ball trades on deck. Fantabulous. I appreciate you hopping on in. Flora Marshall, I appreciate you hopping on in. Vivian, folks, I got to look to the side because you see my background right quick. Folks, let me talk about my family. Ooh-wee, I love it. Just like Miss J said, when they talk about the black sheep of the family, you looking at that guy. Question everything, go against the grain. Could not always stay with the family dynamics. It just was not me. Now, folks, in my family, it was all about the image. Now, of course, this is my daddy's side of the family. If anybody in relationships to me, kinfolk, I'm saying this with love, and y'all know I'm telling the truth. Folks, it was not my mom's side of the family because I did not know her side of the family oh so well. But my dad's side, because we all from Louisiana and everything, my dad's side was very narcissistic. It was all about the image. When I grew up, folks, we didn't have a whole lot. Yes, I wore them second hand-me-downs, them third hand-me-downs. I was that kid, going to the store with them food stamps all day long. We was that family right there. Even though dad was out there in the street, dressed to impress, smelling real good. And my ancestors were with me. My daddy know I'm going to talk about him because, I'm talking about him with love and everything because I'm using his story, our story, to get the point across. It was all about the image, all about the image, all about the dollar signs. And folks, let me tell you, folks, my whole life coming up, you're going to be just like your daddy. Because even my daddy's side of the family looked down on him. He was the oldest one in his family. But because my daddy decided to hit them streets, do his thing, yes, they looked down on him. They looked down on my dad. They looked down on him. And believe you me, as his son, as I got old and I got to a point, it was to a point where I'm like, okay, then I'm not going to let y'all get at my dad. I'm not going to let y'all get at my dad. Folks, I'm going to tell you a real quick story why image was so important to that side of the family. My second oldest sister, which I call my twin, we were born 4 years apart, 2 hours apart on the exact same day. I'm going to say it again. Her name was Leona. My name is Leo. She was born 4 years. We were born 4 years apart, 2 hours apart on the exact same day. Now, folks, let me tell you something. My sister, she had a lot of kids. I think Leona had like 6 kids. Now, she got shot and killed December 27th of 1994. I'll never forget because I was in Korea, stationed in Korea at the time. But we had a family reunion. From what they told me, they were doing a family gathering or a family reunion. My sister was in the streets. My sister lived her life the way she lived her life. She was not the greatest of mothers. But one thing that I was told, because Mary Gregoire, my mom told me this, right? When they gave my mom an invite, or somebody, they gave it to my mother about an invite to go to a family gathering. My mom's like, okay, what about Leona? They said they did not consider Leona part of the family based on how she lived her life. Now, folks, if that ain't narcissistic, I want y'all to tell me something now real quick. Let me go ahead and rewind it again. Those you just coming on, my name is Leo, certified life coach, certified transformation coach. I help people heal who are in and coming out of the narcissistic relationship, and I help narcissists heal. I got Miss Jade on deck, spiritual counselor, spiritual advisor, spiritual healer, Jade of all trades. We are talking about that toxic family or family member, that narcissistic family or that narcissistic family member, whether it's your mom, dad, granddad, or even your kids. Miss Jade, you got anything you want to toss on in there?
Yeah, let's start talking about them and naming them off. The biggest narcissist in my family was my middle sister. She's the middle girl, but she's the second oldest. My mom had Alzheimer's, dementia in the end, and this broad stole from my mom. But let me go back. She used to be in the military. When she came out of the Marine Corps, she was strung out on drugs. Crack was her choice, drug of choice. and then she graduated to heroin. Never in a million years did I think that this girl would do the things that she's done. When I tell you she's stolen everybody's identity in the family, including her own children. She stole from my mom thousands and thousands of dollars before I actually got my mom into my care. I had to get a restraining order against her. Not only that, now I'm bringing this up because this is something that was very hurtful to me, and it just happened. Literally just happened. It started last year. Now she stole financially from my mother, but when I was taking care of my mom with no help, I didn't have zero help. It was just me. I was doing a job of two people. I should have had at least somebody else there with me to help care for her. And so long story short, I reached out for help to her. I was relocating to a different state. And then next thing you know, I got down there to Tennessee, but she wanted to watch my mother. I was like, okay, that's fine. She can't get to my mother's money. So never in a million years did I think that she would physically neglect my mother. I was gone for 10 days. I came back and picked my mom up, got her back home, and I found bed sores on her bottom. It was the worst thing that I ever saw and the worst thing that could have ever happened. Because if you know, when somebody's elderly, they get those bed sores. It's hard to get rid of them. And so I ended up getting some more help from her sister. Long story short, her sister also neglected her. And so I had to get my mom back. It was no more help. I said I had to do everything myself. On my way down to get my mom from my aunt, which is her sister, they declined me rights to get my mother back. They actually wouldn't open the door and said, we're not giving her back to you. Long story short, I ended up getting a restraining order. The judge allowed me to go and remove my mom from the residence and take her back to the state of Iowa. Now, in that process, that same sister went to Iowa. Now, she's in Illinois. She went to Iowa and she got a restraining order against me. I'm in my house with my mom, and 6 sheriffs pulled up on my house, and they told me they was ready to take me out of the house and take my mom. So basically, she lied. Once they realized I had a restraining order in a different state, they did the evaluation. DHS came in. But she told so many lies, y'all. Everything that she said was a lie, and DHS found it unfounded. Now, when you make a report to DHS about elderly abuse, they actually send you the report, the person that made the report. She had my whole entire family, who they know my character. I'm the only child out of 6 who is completely debt-free. I ain't never been busted and disgusted. Always had a career, great career. What I do for a living, I mean, when I tell you I was completely debt-free and still completely debt-free, she lied. But it was so hurtful to me because my whole family jumped in and was thinking that I was abusing my mother. That was the worst thing that could have ever happened. Now, once it was unfounded, do you think she told everybody in the family that she lied? No, she didn't. She didn't. And to this day, right now, I'm not talking to none of their asses. None of them. I will not. Anytime a narcissist can lie on you like that, make up stories when it was them that actually did the dirt, right? And turn around and betray you like that. Everybody said, how can you forgive her, Jade? How can you forgive her? I can forgive her, for she know not what she do. What do I look like? It was hurtful. I cried. I snapped at my family. All of that. Nobody ever apologized to this day. I didn't go to my mother's funeral, and I'm going to tell you why, because I wasn't going to go to jail. I'm spiritual, but I'm not that spiritual. I knew if I saw my sister, I probably would have pulled out both of my pistols and shot her with both of them. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. That's how hurt I was behind it. However, I ended up forgiving her because in my heart, I know I'm dealing with a drug addict. She's sick. She's a sick person.
She's a sick soul. So what do I look like holding on all this harsh energy, all this negative feelings, and everything that I felt in order to be angry at her? It would hurt my heart. It would hurt my organs, my liver, your heart. Everything suffers behind anger. And I know that. So that's how spiritual I am, that I can turn the other cheek and say, enough is enough. I've been through it with this girl. I raised her 3 children, and what it is that she hates me. Now I got the oldest narcissistic sister. She come calling me, trying to figure out, why do Tanya hate you so much? Why does she? And we sitting on the phone having a conversation about who she hates the most. And in reality, you guys, she don't hate me. She hates herself. She absolutely hates herself. She ain't shit. She never will be in this lifetime. She died. Both of my parents died with her on drugs, and she's still without her children. And she's so trifling that to avoid paying me child support, she go on to work in her daughter's name under her daughter's social security number. Now, if I was dirty, you think I'd turn her in, right? I should have got revenge and turned her in to the FBI. But I didn't. So I want to tell that story because everybody think because I'm a life coach, a spiritual advisor, and I carry the wisdom that I carry, that I'm perfect. I'm not. Things hurt, and narcissists can do some nasty, dirty things to you. Some very nasty, dirty things. So I'm going to let you go ahead and jump in, Leo, and I'm going to read some comments.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And folks, look, when we speaking about this, we're not trying to just keep it on a victim level, because we're going to have some solutions on how you deal with the narcissistic family. Again, it's a sensitive subject because most of us, we are embedded. Our lives are dependent. Maybe even more. Just we all know how family. We say, man, if you ain't got nothing at all, you have family. But some of us will sit back and family will step and run all over you. And folks, again, my backdrop, yes, I am still healing from a lot of my narcissistic tendencies, and my narcissistic tendencies was about chasing them women. In other words, I was my daddy times 10. I was my daddy times 10. All I wanted to do was I wanted to have all the women in the world to have sex with. That was my only goal in life. That was my life dream. If you talk about a little kid with dream, how many women can I get? That was me. But folks, believe you me, as I'm telling you this right time now today, I came into the narcissistic family. And again, my daddy's side, who I knew more of, grew up with them in Louisiana, it was all about the image. Quick story time, folks, let me flip it around. For those who don't know me, my name is Leo, certified life coach, certified transformation coach. I help people heal who are in and coming out of narcissistic relationship, and I help the narcissist heal. We have Miss Jade online, spiritual advisor, spiritual counselor, spiritual healer, Miss Jade of all trades. Folks, quick story time. All my life, I was told I ain't gonna be nothing. All my life, coming up, right? I ain't gonna be nothing, right? You're gonna be just like your daddy. Get out the streets. Do this, do that. Everybody trying to tell me I live my life. Now, pay attention. I joined the army, right? I'm in the military. And I'm gonna tell a small story about that. But this story is the one that really and truly resonates. I'm in the army. I'm in Iraq, right? I'm coming out of Iraq. Anybody that been in the military? I was in OIF 1. The initial assault going in, right? So my cousin, first cousin, and I know they're not going to be on this live. I know they ain't going to hear me. And if they hear me, I love y'all, but I'm telling this story because the story is heartfelt. Now, mind you, we live in the projects. Quick backdrop. My mom bagged us all up. Like I told the story. We got the black garbage bags. We moved from Louisiana to Texas. Dad says, I want y'all back. We come back. Dad don't want to have nothing to do with us. We live in his house. Guess he kicked us out because he never was there. We moved to another house. We got evicted from that house. We moved to another house. We had no heat the whole winter time, but we were close. I ain't gonna lie. Mom never had to worry about cooking for Leo Jr. Son, did you eat? Yes, ma'am. Because I was always hanging out with my friends. Mom cooked, dad cooked. You want something to eat? Yes, I do. We had no heat. Guess what happened? We moved to projects. So build this in your mind. We living in the projects, folks. We living in the projects. Keep that thought right there. So I joined the army. Everybody think I'm the next best thing to slice bread by joining the army because people in where I'm from, and I love them dearly, they think that going to the military is the greatest thing ever. I don't put nothing down on the organization. I spent 27 years in the organization. I call it the organization. I spent 27 years, and they pay me pretty good for sitting on my butt right now. Pay attention. I go to Iraq. My cousin is hitting me up. Please come to New Orleans. Please come to New Orleans. Please come to New Orleans. I go visit my cousin coming out of Iraq. They got a big old celebration for me. Of course, I went there, and as anybody knows, Leo don't travel by himself. I'm going to leave it just right there. I go and I spend that time with them. They got this big old celebration, all this stuff. I don't know half these people. I don't even know a third of these people. My dad was there. The woman he's with, I ain't never seen for life. I don't talk to these people. Folks, the story really hit home because, yes, they are like, oh, you so great and all this because you went to combat. You in the army. Think about this. Folks, if you don't know what goes on in the military, you just won't know. And believe you me, I'll break it down one day. But they think I'm the next best thing to sliced bread. I'm the new coming. It was when I went home. Now, they did all this. We got this big old celebration going on. I get home to go see my mom. I told my mom about it. She got mad at me. I said, why are you getting mad at me? Because they didn't invite us. Folks, that still sticks with me to this day. They didn't invite my mom. They didn't invite my sisters. My oldest sister, I don't know what, I think she was living in Washington State at the time. But they didn't invite my family. That was all about the image. Do you think they would invite me if I was flipping burgers at McDonald's? Ain't nothing wrong with that. As long as you love what you're doing, man, I love you too. But they didn't invite my mom. They didn't invite my family. That's what I'm saying. Some of this is a sensitive subject for folks because we will live, ride, or die for family. And family is the one that's going to take you out the quickest. Family will judge you even faster. I've seen families destroy themselves at a funeral. No, not at the funeral, after the funeral. Because everybody wants what the dead person left behind. I seen it. I went through with my mom. And Mary Gregoire didn't have nothing. I made sure of that. One sister on this side, one sister on this. What my mama leave me? What this, what that? Your mom ain't left nothing. So, folks, I'm here to tell you, I'm not trying to keep us in a victim mindset. I'm going to teach you how to feed family with a long handle spoon if you get what I'm talking about. If you're picking up what I'm putting down. But at the end of the day, do not be blind to thinking that your family will not screw you over, that you don't have that narcissistic person in your family. I've seen it. Girls, I had a girl I grew up with. Her family went to shreds over money when her mom died. Everybody wanted a penny. I'm here to tell you, folks, I got so many stories like this. Miss Jade, if you got something you want to tell the folks, go ahead and tell the folks real quick.
I want to say about family, right? Family can be so hurtful but what I learned with this betrayal, because I've been betrayed my whole life by people, right? I didn't never fit in with the crowd. I was always authentic and so real that people couldn't stand me. So I just kept it real. I didn't care if it was with my mama, my daddy. It didn't matter. I believed in being honest, right? But if you can get through betrayal from your family, you can get through betrayal from anybody. I don't care who it is. If you can get through the betrayal of family, you can get through it with anybody. Now, my son, same situation, but my son got mad at me during the process. He was there. He told DHS and the sheriff my sister and them was lying and all that, right? But my son is a narcissist. I told y'all that before. And he stole from me. Now, he got mad at me because I told him, I don't like to say this word, but I am psychic. I do have the ability of foretelling future, right? I don't like to say it, I'm a prophet or psychic, because I don't identify with those titles. I just say I'm multi-talented. That's why they gave me the name Jade of all trades. That's how I got the nickname Jade. And so I told my son exactly how he was going to go to jail. I had a dream. And I told him, if you go to jail, don't call me. Do not call me if you go, because I'm done after this. Well, it happened exactly as I said it. It wasn't even 2 whole weeks. And my nephew was calling me, Auntie, they taking Jerron to jail. I said, oh, okay. Well, tell him I'm not coming to get him out. And that was it, right? So when he got out of jail, he was only in there for like 5 days. When he got out of jail, he was so mad at me. I guess he thought I'm going to get her back. But unbeknownst, now he hadn't been back in my house, so it was premeditated. So that means while he was in my house, which my son is also a drug addict. I don't know what he on, but I know he on some type of drug, like his father was. He had already stole my credit card, and when he got out, that brother ran that sucker up. I mean, he went spending, and all of a sudden I'm getting notifications, and I didn't catch the first couple notifications, but by the time he got to $700 on that credit card, I said, oh no, what's going on? Called Navy Federal Credit Union to find out this fool done called in and had them mail him a card to a whole different address because I had him down as an authorized user. So my child, now this was it for me. Now, once I paid the credit card off right next day. I didn't care. I just shut it off, paid the credit card off. I took it as a loss, but I knew. I've always told my son and all the children I raised, if you ever put your hands on me or you ever steal from me, you will be dead to me. I hope I don't kill you, okay? Because that's where I was at. And I shouldn't say that on this live. But that was how it was. Now, during the process with my mother, he was so angry. Do you know this fool went in there and told, he wrote an affidavit up and signed it and said that I was abusing my mom and what he witnessed. So that right there, y'all, was the nail in the coffin. And I knew that if me as a mother, and I never could understand why my mother could never forgive my two sisters. I'm like, Mom, these your daughters. You don't have no relationship with them. My mother would never forgive both of them for what they did. She went out this earth with unforgiveness in her heart. And she still, to the last time she could remember, my mom never could forgive my sisters. But I never understood it. I used to think my mom was being harsh. But until it happens to you, your child steal from you and do something bogus like that, you can't say what you wouldn't do. Now, if I could withstand that betrayal from my own son, and yes, I have forgiven him too, but here we go with the long handle spoon. I'm going to push them. I'm going to keep them back. I can love them from a distance. But anytime somebody can do something like that, you are not supposed to let them back in your life. That is where the separation and the isolation comes in. And we talked about isolation or solitude. No, this is isolation. This is a family isolation because they're going to stay right there behind over there. That is my child. He's my only child. But I do not care to see him ever again in life. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with it because I've been through the ringer with him too. I bust my behind as a single mother. He had the best life that I could possibly give a child. And part of it was that I gave him too much, but I built that narcissist. And I know how to put that narcissist to the side because I didn't want to end up like Marvin Gaye's father. You know, I didn't want to Marvin Gaye him. Okay.
That part. Okay, you want me to jump on in?
Yeah, jump in.
All right, hey, folks, y'all shut a live, and tap the screen until it turns red, white, and blue. Y'all go ahead and follow Miss J, follow myself. We're very transparent with this. And folks, I'm gonna talk about my older sister. And I love her dearly. Seems like that child just can't change. I always think that she got to be the one in charge of everything. Folks, when we talk about the epitome of the golden child, can't do no wrong, my older sister. Now, folks, let me tell you, my older sister took very good care of me as her younger brother. And believe you me, when I went and visited her a couple of years ago, might have been last year, I think a couple of years ago, last year, whatever it was, took great care of me. She lives in St. Croix, right? Now, folks, let me tell you, all throughout my life, this child could not do nothing wrong. But she bore the brunt of my daddy no goodness. And I'm not saying that my sister is bitter, but I know she still harbors some pain inside of her. Believe you me, and I know it because I've already spoken to Mary Gregoire about this, and I know Mary Gregoire put me on mission to do some things. But when I tell you the golden child, I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. I got so many stories inside my head. I'm trying to figure out which one. Okay, me and her, my mom had a stroke. My mom had a stroke about 30 days after I had an emergency appendectomy, right? So just this day, I called mom's up, boy, and you know, she just didn't answer right. Wait a couple hours, call her again. Boom, I'm jetting 2 hours down the road to go see my mom. All right. Luckily, she always leave a little crack in her bathroom window. At this time, I'm about 270 plus pounds, but she's in there, and I mean, she got the door locked, but that window was open. So I slid my big self inside there. Long story short, she had a stroke, didn't want to leave out the house, told her I had the EMS come on over there. She was like, ain't nothing wrong with me. Y'all know how them strong moms is. My mom, one of the most powerful individuals to ever walk this earth. I had to literally convince her with tears in my eyes, Mom, we got to get you checked out. Paramedics came back, she had a mild stroke. All right. Mom had to give approval, power of attorney to one of us kids. I'm 2 hours away. I don't want nothing from Mom's. I'll relocate to where she was at. And I'm like, all right, she's giving it to me. Now, my youngest sister done showed up, right? She's there. Me and her done had some words, but I won't argue with my sisters. I don't raise my voice. But I got older sister on the phone. We got the notary, mobile notary right there. Mary Gregoire about as sane as I'm talking to you right now. She's like, all right, he gonna do everything for me. Would you know my older sister had an issue with that? I'm in a nursing home. I'm talking. She like, well, why she ain't get it? I should be the one. I'm the oldest. And folks, anybody know me? I will not say nothing. I will not get rough with my older sister. Because I got a story about me and her getting into it once before and Mary Gregoire taking her side. But folks, that girl made me so hot. She made me hotter than fish grease. We could have balled fish. We could have balled crawfish as hot as I was. And I said in this voice, folks, universe, and I know my mom is sitting in here right now laughing. That boy gonna tell that story. My mom know me. She know I do not ignite on my, especially when I would not ignite. I said, you can take your happy ass off that coconut ass island, come here, sit with your mom so I can go back to my beautiful home comfortable and sit over there. And I hung up in her face. My mom looked at me. I said, Mama, she made me upset. She said, I know she did. Go ahead and sign the paperwork for me right quick. She'll be all right. And sure enough, and I apologize to my older sister. But folks, I will tell you, that was that control mindset. My older sister wanted to cut my younger sister off from the mix. And her whole thing was, well, Danita, she don't have no money. Again, image. So I'm kind of like that bridge. Because till this day, she will still sit up there with Danita don't have no money. She don't have no money. Don't worry about Danita. I got her covered. I got her covered. So, folks, you got to know how to feed your family members with a long handle spoon. I love my older sister. Believe you me. She's a beautiful individual and got a great soul. But Lord, that girl got things about control. And she thinks because she the oldest, she got the last say in the word. Now, of course, me and my older sister stopped talking for a very long time. Behind some bull crap property in the hood, my grandmother's house. And all she do is cry about it, but at the same time, she's trying to make a dollar off of it. Folks, I don't want to get long-winded about it, but she is the epitome of the golden child. Everybody thinks because she knows something about real estate, because my sister's been doing real estate for like, a long time. And I tell people, she is excellent when it comes down to real estate. I heard that girl talk 3 different languages in St. Croix. She talked the island language, she talked the money language, and she talked to her brother in our language. I seen it. I seen my sister shift gears so quick. I was like, dang, this girl bad. She bad. And her thing is, you always got to stay ready to have to get from being ready. And all that, you know how that goes and everything. But at the end of the day, everybody looks at her as the golden child. Now somebody might say, well, Leo, you hating on your older sister. No, y'all, I don't hate on my older sister. Believe you me, my life is beautiful. And there's a lot of times I know me as a younger brother in the age that I am, I'm like, I can drop some gems on her. But at the end of the day, that was the golden child. And to this day, still thinks that she is the golden child. Till this day, we got a family reunion coming up and she's sending me orders. I'm like, don't worry about it, I got it. Don't worry about it, I got it. Don't worry about it, I got it. But we have them. We'll have that one family member that everybody thinks, oh man, they walk on water and they sinking. For the ones that really stay sinking. But my older sister, if she was to ever, matter of fact, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I done wrote, 10 books. My older sister, for the first time in life, liked one of my videos yesterday. Folks, I've been doing videos since December 2022. I know they see my stuff. I know they see my stuff. For the first time, she liked one of my videos. I was like, well, look at this. This girl getting soft in her young age. Ain't this something? And I love her dearly. That's my dog. But we all have them. We all have them. We have that golden child. And they stuck in that process thinking that they are entitled because they're the oldest. We all have. We all have. Miss J, come on. I know you got
some. I was gonna ask that. So is this an oldest child thing? Because my sister's the same way, and I don't get it. But so with narcissistic family, guys, when I say allow them to test you, that is the best type of growth that I think you can get besides being in a marriage. Is by family, because we were raised to be together, to stay together. But like Leo said, when people die off, it's the money thing that people go after. And I want to ask that question to the people that's watching. Are the narcissists that you know money hungry? Have they tried to control the money issue or the money aspect of things? Because when we talk about relationships in this live, that seems to be most women's gripe with their husband, is that because he paid the bills, he felt like he was entitled to something. So I think it's not just a thing. I think narcissists like to control monetarily as well. Is that a thing, Leo?
What's that again?
Narcissists like to control monetarily.
Yeah, exactly. A narcissist wants control of any and everything. That's like up there, like one of the number one things in all the different dynamics of being a narcissist. Control is very key because we live in a narcissistic society. We live in one. And where's this society based off of? It's based off of control. But yes, it is.
Okay. I just asked that because I know narcissists, but this is a topic that Leo is an excellent at, because I didn't know it was different types of narcissists. I was like, a narc is a narc. I don't care what you say, but he explained it to me, and I'm like, oh wow, I never knew that. Even in my study of psychology, I never knew it was different types of narcissism.
Yep.
I guess I didn't pay attention to that part, but yeah, I noticed that money is always an issue with them. Some type of way they feel like they want to control. It's also an image, they try to portray this image as if they are so perfect, but they all lies underneath. It's all a bunch of crap underneath. And so, yeah. So family can be the biggest test. And I say, let them be. If they are challenging you and you are being challenged in your family by a narcissistic child or a family member, the best thing I can say is accept it and accept them for who they are, especially if they've shown you more than once that they are this. You can't change a person. You cannot change a person at all. That's on them. That's on them. And so that's how I got to this point where I can just turn the other cheek. But I'm not going to turn it for you to slap the other side. I'm not doing that. It's a certain thing called boundaries, and healthy boundaries, that we have to learn how to put up with our family, because how many of us in this live right now have dealt with it over and over and over and over again? We think that because it's family, like we owe them something. We don't owe them our loyalty. because that same sister who did me in is the same sister who I defended because my family did her, like Leo's family. They didn't want her at none of the family gatherings. My grandfather didn't want her in the house. I had to snap at him. Like, you're supposed to be the head of the family. Now, I done went off on everybody and defended her because I'm like, you gotta forgive that she on drugs. You know, just don't be so divisive. So them same family members that I went and defended her with over the years, are the same ones that turned against me and was believing the lies. But that's funny how that worked. That's funny how that works. So you gotta let them teach you the lesson of forgiveness and boundaries, because you have to put them up. Your family will be the detriment to your soul, your energy, and your internal organs if you continue to hold on to unforgiveness and the hatred because they are narcissists.
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna jump on in because, like I said, me and my older sister, we had many run-ins, folks. I remember there was a situation that happened in reference to my grandmother's house. I was working in the oil field at the time, headed into Midland, about to do some work up there with I think I was with Weatherford at the time. I'll never forget, called me crying, talking about one part of the family wants us, another part of the family, pay them off $20,000 for our rights on the property. I said, we ain't paying them nothing. Ask them where all that rent money went. Because my uncle and his sister was renting out my grandmother's house, right? My dad lived right next door. He didn't have no electricity. Like I said, my dad, when he came back to Louisiana after he was doing what he was doing, I already knew my dad came home to die. I knew that right off the cuff. Because I told my mom that I'm on vacation, big sis on vacation, because she was at a point where she was forgiving him, right? My dad pulled up in that money green Cadillac, clean it in the Board of Health. I try to tell you, casket fresh. And I looked at it and I said, my daddy came home to die. But folks, long story short, his house was right next door. It wasn't fixed up. My dad was that guy, put the bag on his back, he gonna shack up with a woman. That was his whole life. Period, point blank. But his own brother and sister would not let him run electricity from their mother's house to the house he was in. And I caught wind of it. When I caught wind, I'm like, well, why they not doing that, right? Everything based on the dollar sign. And I'll never forget to this day, they were trying to get rid of the property. Big sister, because Golden Child wants to take over two of my cousins' parts of the property, because as people die off, they give it to the siblings or whatever the situation would be. Because there's so many siblings, they didn't want to have nothing to do with it because they were tired of paying the property tax. Property tax ain't nothing but $300-400. That ain't a whole bunch between y'all acting all bougie like y'all got these 10-story houses and stuff. But because she took on that responsibility and she gonna get me involved, and I'm like, okay, then if I take over the property, I ain't paying nobody a penny. She like, well, I don't have nothing to do. I don't have nothing to do with it. All right, then you don't have nothing to do with it. I'm gonna turn investment property. Now here she come. Well, if you need some help, let me know. I already know the game. You want $1 out of this 15 cents that I'm trying to do right here. But folks, it got to a point. I'm doing text messages. I'm like, okay, where's all that rent money that y'all say y'all got from my dad? And did my dad get a part of it? Of course, my older sister jumped on the other side. I see Miss J signed off for a second. She probably got bad connection. My sister took their side. Leo, why you going after them? You know what they're going through. I said, hold on. Our whole life, we've been going through something. How you going to jump on their side? That's when Leo became the black sheep, their scapegoat. Oh, he hard-headed. He don't want to listen to nobody. Because I believed in going against the grain and I believed in what's being fair. I don't care. Y'all not going to steamroll nobody. They didn't want my little sister. Folks, I'm in Iraq. Second time in Iraq. I caught wind of it. They was going to let my little sister rent my grandmother's house and stay in it. My uncle was like, all right, you fix it up and then we'll charge you rent. I'm like, wait, that don't sound right. Nobody paying nothing on this house. That's your niece. Right? I caught wind of it in Iraq and I'm going back and forth. All right, folks, what's the business? Why are we choosing money over family? Pay attention. You could hear a rat pissing on cotton. Nobody was going to answer that question. They was like, okay, this boy going against the grain. He ain't going with the flow. Because I never believed in just stepping on the little guy. Narcissists will step on the little guy, especially in the family dynamics. Pay attention. But folks, I'm not going to keep this like every family member is just a boogeyman. Because folks, there are ways to deal with families. There are ways to deal with your narcissist family. You need to learn how to feed them with a long handle spoon. You need to go either no contact or low contact. Because let me tell you what happens. Let me tell you the guilt trip they pull you in. Because it happens to me and I've seen it happen. Do it for family. Stop right there, y'all. I know somebody heard that. Do it for family. Family important. Family all you got. But family is screwing me over left and doggone right. Family that stabbed me in my back more than anybody else. Family have talked bad about me more times than family have kicked me to the curb more times you can't shake a stick at. I know y'all done heard that. Do it for family. Because I heard it. Do it for family. That's family. I give a rat's tailbone if it's family or not. They still gonna screw you over faster than that person you're in a relationship with. You need to learn. Go no contact. Go low contact. Because they know Leo like, okay, Leo doing his thing. Leo ain't trying to come around. Because I have not gone to funerals. They call me like, folks, let me tell you, right now, I don't know when this funeral is. My older sister reaches out. Hey, Laura Lynn passed away. Laura Lynn is my uncle's daughter from another mother. I'm like, oh, wow, she passed away. Pedra asked, this is my older sister telling me, Pedra asked if you could be a pallbearer. My number ain't changed since I had the phone. Why she ain't tapped in? She see me on social media because I'm posting videos every day. Why you go through my older sister to reach out to me? I felt some kind of way. But good thing old Leo like, you know what, I ain't going to respond. I'm AA. I just need to know when the date is. My cousin Pete, she like, well, I'm going to send Peter your information. So I sent her your number and everything. All right, then let him reach out. My cousin Peter reached out to me. I'm going to say her name. I know she ain't hearing me on this live. If she do, I love you, Peter. But I'm going to tell a story. She says, I'm sending your information that you sent me to somebody else. I told her my schedule. Hey, this was going on with me. Nobody reaches out to me to tell me, hey, this is when the funeral is. This is when I talk about. This is what I talk about with family. But they say do it for family. Folks, ain't nobody broke 10 West to come visit Leo in Texas. Ain't nobody drove 5.5 hours, 5 hours to come visit Leo in Texas. But I'll be doggone. Leo, when you coming? What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong? Folks, learn how to feed your family with a long handle spoon. Learn that. Go no contact. Go low contact. Let it slow drip because guess what? You're going to catch the smear campaign. Miss Jade, if you got anything else you want to toss on out at the family like this.
Yeah, they were saying low contact, no contact. I'm no contact. I'm there now, right? After that, I'm not gonna give you no more room to come in my life and sabotage me in no shape, form, or fashion. I'm gonna protect myself and my energy. When I came, my mom passed June 1st of this year. I left for Thailand. She was actually scheduled to come with me. My mom was booked on the flight. I was bringing her here so that I can get her health together because I knew that the Western medicine is garbage. And so over here, you barely ever hear about somebody having Alzheimer's dementia, ever. And so I thought, let me get over here, get her some herbs and all that. But let me tell y'all something. I want to make this very clear in case any of them scallywags is on here watching this live because they've been stalking me on my TikTok pages. Creating profiles. I know it's her, Tanya. I know it's her. She's trying to see what's going on. So in case she's listening, you are not the reason why I didn't go to mom's funeral. I had decided earlier this year, in January to be exact, that when my mother passed, I don't do funerals. I'm like Leo. I don't do funerals. I don't believe in them. In fact, I don't think we should be put in the ground. I think that a soul should be burnt up, cremated, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, free the soul, not put them in no box in Mother Earth. I just think it's the dumbest thing we could do. However, I decided that I did not want my last moments with my mother to be me seeing her going down in the ground. Now, I took care of my father to his dying day, buried him. That was because he was a veteran. And I knew that I had to bury my mother because she would go on top of him in the same cemetery, right? So I made peace with it. I had already decided, because you know why? I didn't want to go to her funeral and let that be the last moment, but I also didn't want to see the fake ass tears either. I asked for help. I asked my 5 siblings for help, and nobody would help me with my mother. And when she started the mess, none of them reached out to ask me anything. They were all like a singing choir. When they know my character, they know I'm a day trader, that I have hundreds of thousands in the bank account, and that ain't no reason for me to steal from my mother and exploit her in any shape, form, or fashion. So I didn't want to see no fake tears. I did not want to let that be my last moment of me seeing her go down in the ground. I paid for the funeral. I paid for the funeral myself, and they wanted a limo. I scratched that off the list because I wasn't letting none of them ride in no limo. but I did that because it was my piece of heart. And I told them, don't send me her obituary. I didn't want to see no pictures. I didn't want to see anything from that day, because I made my peace with my mother and I said my goodbyes to her and I left. So in case she watching, don't ever think that you was the reason why I didn't come. Now I did. I'm glad I didn't come, because I would have pulled out both guns like I said, but I couldn't do it. The last betrayal that she did, and I'm going to say this, was that I was at the hospital with my mom before they pronounced her dead. I had 6 sheriffs come into the hospital because she called the hospital and told them that I had kidnapped my mother, and that like I had just had her. My mother has been with me since 2016. So she lied on that day. And that's the day that I knew. I'm glad that I had sold everything. I'm going to tell you how God worked that thing out. I had sold my car. I was trying not to. I was trying to keep it till Monday. I sold my car that Saturday. My mom, I actually put the report to the DHS that was unfounded, and I sent that to my aunt, my mother's other sister-in-law. I sent it to her with a nasty note for the whole entire family, and I told them that we would be in Thailand by the time they got this letter. Well, I didn't know my mom was going to die the next day. God set that up, y'all, because had I had my truck, and after my sister disrespected my mother and they were talking about doing an autopsy on her and all this other crap, and I'm having sheriffs in my face, I probably would have gotten into my truck and drove from Tennessee to Indiana, and I would have taken her life off this earth. I would have that day, because at that point I had enough. I'm going to say, don't ever let a narcissist have your energy in that way, ever. And I knew that if I can make it through this type of betrayal, can't nobody on this earth do nothing to me that will make me react. Nothing. And when I came to Thailand, I was able to completely reset my nervous system, because this is a different place here. If y'all can ever get a chance to leave America, leave it, because your nervous system is reactionary. It is that way because that's how America is built, on a narcissistic environment. It is based on control and everything. So if you can ever leave. But divine God set this up for me, that I was able to get away and heal. And don't ever think that I will allow them people back into my life to ever do anything to harm me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. They say shame on you once, right? Shame on you twice. Now, if you do it a third time, you got to be the biggest fool on earth. You do not allow people or narcissists, nobody, to continue to hurt you. Once they show you who they are, believe them and let them go.
Yes, indeed. Now, folks, I'm gonna jump back on here real quick and everything, because I might run this place for a while. But folks, let me say some things, right? And I know some we're very connected to our families. Our families have, at some form of fashion been there for us. and I gotta believe, folks, I'm not saying that I do not love my sister or I don't love my family members or I don't love my relatives. Because when my uncle passed, it was like a family reunion to me. I got to see people, got to hugging on them, got to loving on them and everything. But you have to learn that one, you have to have boundaries. You got them family members that want to do whatever they gotta do. You gotta know you gotta set boundaries. The first boundary I always talk about, set that boundary against yourself in what you're gonna allow. What you allow you, because your old self is going to allow a lot of stuff. Your new self may not allow it. So you might have to build that boundary against your old self. Because your old self might have been used to, well, I'm going to go visit them every time I go home. Your new self might be like, nah, no, I can go fishing, or I can go get me some gumbo or something else. I can do something a whole lot better. I don't want to hear that mess. But you have to learn how to set those boundaries. And those boundaries is going to come to block out the guilt trip. Because I'm gonna tell you, family will make you feel guilty when you step out on your own. They will make you feel guilty. I promise you that. As soon as you go against the grain, if you've always done what family did, let's say every Christmas you the one bringing the mac and cheese, and you decide I'm staying home this year, you about to get some guilty stuff. Whenever you step outside the family dynamics, you about to get it. Whenever you do something different outside the family, if you one of them people that all you did was migrate with the family stayed on this street, you stay 2 streets over. The family stay in this town, you right there in that town, or you right next door. But the minute you do something different, well, I'm going to move over to Montana. Oh, boy, you better be careful. They got grizzly bears over there. Okay, so what? Who said I got to go hang out with the grizzlies? So be prepared, because you're going to get that guilt trip. Why Leo ain't show up to the funeral? Leo ain't coming to the funeral. I didn't talk to him for almost 10 years. How am I look showing up like, oh, hey, man, I'm sorry. Man, I pray, or whatever situation may be. And, folks, I'm not heartless to this. I'm not heartless, and I'm not desensitized to this. I am not. If you can't go, you have to be able to speak your truth. Hey, I can't make it. I can't do this. I'm not coming. My younger sister invited me to all kinds of stuff. Heck, I was living 30 minutes away from you. Ain't come visit me. Denise, I ain't gonna make it. I need to borrow. Nope. Folks, and I'm not saying you have to be mean to family, but family will be the biggest narcissist that you got to deal with. You have to learn to rebuild your identity. And they're going to respect that when they say, you know what? This is what he does. We love him. Boom. But if you don't, you're going to be a victim of the narcissistic family dynamics. And believe you me, we have kids. Like I said, I haven't said nothing about my daughter yet. Because when my daughter lived with me for about 30 plus days, she tried to blame, well, Dad, you know, I can't be in here with 2 alphas. I said, I don't bother you. You decide you want to leave because you want to leave. So, folks, you have to be ready for that. Because one thing I will tell you about narcissistic family members, loved ones, or whoever you deal with, they don't want to be the blame person. They want to point that finger at you. You have to be ready for that. Be prepared for that. You have to learn how to detach emotionally. You know. I hope y'all can hear me. My timer just went on. Can y'all hear me? Jay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Y'all have to learn how to detach emotionally. That's not saying that you don't care. That's not saying that you don't love them. Learn to detach emotionally, because your emotions will keep you there. If you love anything in life, you know that love does not control. Love does not keep you somewhere where you don't want to be. Love is about being free. You can love your family from Alaska. Hey, I love y'all. I love y'all. But love is reciprocal. It's an energy. One of the highest energies, if not the highest energy. So if you love yourself and you in that family dynamics, pay attention, because they right there. The controlling ones. Do it for family. Your mama needs, whatever the situation may be. But again, you're going to have to learn to detach emotionally, love them from afar, accept them for who they are, love them for who they are. And folks, if you can do that, that's when life gets easy. Because most of us will stop our lives for family. Like Jay said, she stopped doing everything to take care of her mom. Her mom became number one in her life. My ex-wife, that happened to my ex-wife. She stopped doing everything to take care of her sister, and her sister passed. Me, I relocated with my mom for a while. And then, listen to my sister, I went work in the oil field. My mom passed away right when I was sitting down there at work. Again, folks, all I'm saying is everything is through lessons. We learn these lessons because we get the test. But what I'm saying is you have to learn to detach emotionally, but you still love them. We got a family reunion coming up. We was going to do a real big one. But all these yahoos, oh, we don't want to do it. We don't do it. We don't have enough money. Folks, between all of us, but I'm glad Big Sis, who love to take charge, we're going to do something just in turn. We're going to do it for our mom and our dad. I'm like, I'm with you. I got you. Don't even worry about it. I'll quarterback it. Throw me the ball. I throw it downfield. So, folks, pay attention. You don't have to stay in the narcissistic family dynamics. You have your mission. You have your purpose. Your purpose is not their purpose. It's yours. God gave it to you. So, folks, we're going to have this conversation again. But, Miss Jade, please, take us on out the show. Take us on out.
Like Leo said, detach emotionally and don't be a walking doormat. You don't allow people to just keep walking over you over and over again. It's a choice. It's a decision that you have to make. And sometimes it's the hardest decision to make because they play the game, then they may say, oh, you act like you better than everybody. No, that's you that think that. That's you. And they'll throw that guilt trip on you and all of that. But it's okay. It's okay that I learned this. My family is not my blood relative. They say blood is thicker than water. I'm going to tell you something. My family is some really good friends, and I don't have many. I keep my circle small and tight, and it's because of what I do. Divine has a way of keeping me separate from the riffraff and the mess. But your family is not always your blood relatives. And I use the term family, F-R-A-M-I-L-Y, because your friends, some of your friends can be like family. So make sure that you keep your boundaries set, make them healthy boundaries, but don't come from a place of hatred. I could still have hatred in my heart for everything that she did to me, but I don't. Because I know what that is doing, and I choose to let go. And when you decide to love from a distance and you let go in that way and you forgive, what actually happens is spiritually there are cords attached to you. They call them imprints. Some people call them, but they are cords attached to you, and especially your family members, anybody you come in contact with sexually, any type of way. Those are cords that are attached. If you even have a long-term friendship, those are cords that are attached. So you have to get those cords cut. You need to cut them yourself. Or if you're not experienced in the spiritual realm to be able to work it, then you can do it. But those are cords. And what happens is when you forgive, it severs the cord. And it severs that energy that they can no longer siphon from you. The only way that cord reattaches is if you allow it to. So be mindful of once you cut them off, whether it be low contact or no contact, choose how you deal with them. Be very mindful of that. I thank you guys for being on with us tonight again. Thank you, Leo, for having me on for this subject and letting me talk. It was still healing for me because since it happened, I haven't told the story except to close people to me. Leo knew it. My bestie knew it. Everybody knows it, but I haven't spoken about it. And I'm actually getting ready to start teaching on it. And that will be a story that a lot of people will hear over and over again, because I know that was a big betrayal that can happen in a family, and how I was able to forgive and let go. But I will never forget, and I will never go into contact with her specifically ever again. My son, different story. That's my child. But as of now, I don't care to see him until he changes his life and get off those drugs. But that's my choice. And then whatever you got to say. But thank you guys for the gifts. I appreciate the support and you guys commenting. It helps us to be able to know what we can talk about next or how we can help you guys next.
Yes, indeed. Hey, folks, we're going to go ahead and check on out, man. I appreciate y'all hopping on in right quick. And you know, when the topic gets so good, man, we just gonna keep on running the play, keep on running the play, because guess what? We can talk about this for a whole lot longer. Folks, look, y'all be great today. Matter of fact, it's not even about being great. You're already great. Go ahead and live in your greatness. Go ahead, walk in your Godship. Go ahead, walk in your I am. And folks, as I always say, if I close out, you are great. Go help somebody else be even greater. Y'all have a good one.